Welcome back to At Home with Roby. I'm Patrick McIsaac with Roby Electric, along with Trent Haston from the Roby family of companies. We are your hosts. Trent, you said something that I got at the end of the last segment. Brick did not get it, just so everybody knows. But no, I'm just joking, Brick. But you used the word monkey paw. I know what a monkey paw is, and some people out there probably know what the technical term for a monkey paw is. But give it to us. What does it mean in the business world?
Well, you know, on every show we try to have a little fun.
We do that.
We try to bring a customer or a business partner on the show to talk about businesses and tell stories, and then we also like to educate the public on some business lessons that we have. So today's term is monkey paw. Oh, also let me tell you that in our coaching after doing the radio show for a while, they said we need to perfect the cliffhanger. So I thought monkey paw would be a good cliffhanger. That was
probably the best one we've had in a while. I agree.
I'm trying to go 3 for 4 today. But a monkey paw is when you have an introduction to a relationship with a client as a salesperson and as a business, and you provide a service for a client. And basically what it means is think about a relationship with a customer and a family as a long-term relationship, a holistic relationship, something that's going to last over time. And don't be greedy and think of it as, oh, what am I getting out of this one deal? And basically, it doesn't matter how you get in front of somebody to build a relationship, but if you have an opportunity, generally small, to get in front of them, service them greatly and build that relationship, then you have a long-term relationship, and that would be the monkey paw. That would be, in the mortgage industry, the first-time home buyer.
Okay.
In the construction industry, it would be the services sector, i.e. handyman, electrical service, and such like that. So we kind of use it as a business. A lot of times our first interview with somebody is either handyman or Roby Electric, and we know that you have to do that very under a microscope type job as good or better than you can do a bigger job, which sometimes per the size of the job is easier because it's not as watched. And if you do a great job, you oftentimes can build a client for life and years and decades of opportunities.
Hence the term came from, it's a nautical term. I mean, basically what it is, I mean, you're right, it's a smaller rope with a knot at the end that's thrown up to a ship or from the shore to pull a bigger line up without having to throw a bigger line. That's where the term came from.
Smoking Joe. Man, you got nautical on us?
Got nautical.
Wow.
Nautical.
For Hurricane Week.
What's that? Yeah, but a lot of those are going on right now. Let's get back to mortgages and get off monkey paws here, Brick. What do you think?
That's fine. I kind of like the monkey paw terminology.
Cool.
Hey,
especially
Brick.
Yours. I'm impressed.
We're trying to get
It's
educated.
a nautical term.
That's right.
Google.
There you go. Google.
You can learn anything, and you believe everything you read on Google.
Of course, you have to.
So if you're a sailor out there and I got that wrong, please, I apologize. Brick, let's get back on topic here a little bit. We've been talking about reno loans. You're really talking about the $15,000 first home buyer credit. Now, is that I've hit all those requirements. Government cuts me a check for $15,000. Pow. Is that how that works? Or is it a little bit more?
Sort of. It goes through North Carolina Housing, which we're partners with.
Okay.
We essentially underwrite the entire file, use our resources for that, and then we hand it off to North Carolina Housing, and within a couple hours they'll approve it, and then they'll cut the check to the attorney. Now the caveat to this also is that you have to be in the house for 5 years. If you refinance or move, even if you make it an investment property and you buy something else, you'll have to pay a portion of that $15,000 back.
Okay.
It's paid back in increments of, I think, 20% a year is how it's prorated over 5 years until it's completely forgivable.
Well, still, that's a big deal. I mean, there's a lot of I say that because there's a lot of apartments being built right now, so I'm wondering if that will cause a paradigm shift of renting to owning. And maybe the younger out of college, that kind of first time. That's typically you're talking about with a first time home.
Exactly.
Not all the time, but it's really interesting that's come in place. I tell you, it makes you wonder if you are a first time home buyer, you're listening, or your kid's a first time home buyer. Get in touch with Brick at Cunningham and Company because that is a phenomenal deal.
It's phenomenal. It's
great.
great.
At $240,000, $15,000. I mean, you're really getting close to a minimum down payment just with that $15,000.
You're almost down to the 10%, 20%. I
Yeah.
mean, you're a big chunk of that, so it's great.
No, I mean, I would have. I mean, my first. I think my first property I purchased would have been. I mean, this would have been a home
Right.
run.
Exactly.
Home run.
Exactly.
Let's change subject. Switch gears. I want to learn something here. 417 is the break point between a traditional mortgage and a jumbo loan.
Correct.
Is that how you say that?
Correct.
So I want a little education because I'm in the business, man, and I have had a lot of mortgages and help people with a lot of mortgages. Why is it 417? What does it mean to be on one side or the other of that $417,000? Can you explain that a little bit for us?
For the $417,000, that's a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac requirement. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are government bureaucracies that ultimately guarantee these loans.
Okay.
But they're not guaranteeing loans with a loan balance over 417. So the reason why the rates are better for a conforming loan under 417 is because
Guaranteed.
that's guaranteed. And when you go above that, then it's more of the private equity firms or the hedge funds or the bigger banks that actually provide those jumbo loans, and it stays on their books. So there's no guarantee to it. So that's
So
why
it gets a little riskier
gets
above
a little
417
riskier,
because
correct.
the government's not backing the brokerage house.
Exactly.
I never knew that.
It's amazing, and it's just and that's why the rates are so great under 417.
Has that number always been 417?
It's been that for at least 10 years, 15 years in Charlotte. It's based on the metro area.
Okay, so it's not. This isn't a nationwide. It's that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
I think up north, I think in maybe D.C. area, it might be 650 is the.
Really? I never
So,
knew that. So it's
depends on where you
based
are.
on the location.
Outer Banks is over 600, which is crazy.
That's interesting. Yeah,
That's
that's
where all them rich, crazy people live. You know?
Wait, but don't you have a house? No, I'm just
No,
kidding, Trent.
I don't.
But
Yes,
so
4 feet under.
do you see that increasing in Charlotte? Obviously, property values for the last 10 years have really increased.
You would think,
you know.
you would think, but and there's really not been any talk of that.
Okay.
I think eventually we will get there, but right now it's 417's to break even.
Well, Trent, I think you brought up an interesting question. I mean, who sets that here? Say that again. Who actually sets that dollar figure?
It's Fannie Mae.
Fannie Mae,
and
okay.
Freddie. They basically go through and look at the metro areas and just come up with a broad number. And usually 417 is the standard number.
I got a idiot answer here. Who in the heck is Fannie and Freddie? And why are they a brother and a sister?
They're owned by the government. They were brought about in the I think it's the 60s and 70s, and they're really the reason why you're not going to your local bank and signing 2 papers and getting a mortgage and having to put 40% down, because it allows for the securitization of these funds, and it allows it allows a set of guidelines to really follow that everybody abides by.
So sometimes, often we frown on bureaucracy and government intrusion, but it has allowed our housing market in America to flourish.
It has
for decades and decades, because you don't have to go put 40% down to buy a house because you're that risky. The government supports the buyer, and secures the loan up to 417.
But of course, it can go into debt. I mean, I was part of the meltdown as Fannie Mae and Freddie were very much shut down. So, yeah, there's some implications to it. But now in a healthy market, it's definitely a positive.
That is great, man. I mean, really, I did not know that. I didn't know much about jumbo. So thanks for your insight.
Sure.
Well, before we forget, Brick, tell us how we get in touch with Brick. How do we get in touch with your company? Website, phone number. Let the listeners have it. $15,000. They can call you about that, of the down payment assistance. Renovation loans up to 95% to the $417,000. How do we get in touch with you?
I'm always available. Cell phone 704-651-3827, or just go to shoot me an email, brickm@cunningham.mortgage.com, or go to the Cunningham Mortgage website and just dig into Charlotte, and you'll see my team there.
And find Brick McDermott. Brick, Trent will tell you this. I love it when people give their cell phone
I was about
numbers
to
out.
say, another
awesome.
true partner
Yes.
of the Roby family of companies.
Don't hide.
Well, let's roll. Patrick, can we come back for one more
I
segment?
got one more in me, Trent.
All right, Brick, thanks for being here.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be back in a few.